Jordan, you've been following this Craig Kelly stuff where he's sending people text messages about vaccines.
What's he saying? Are we allowed to say it, or will we get cancelled?
Well, you can imagine what he was saying, but he was saying it as authorized by himself, Craig Kelly, under the Palmer United Party.
Ooh.
But it seemed a little fake, but I don't know. Maybe it's real. Maybe he's going to be part of the Palmer Party.
Look, it'd be a good move for him, wouldn't it? Mostly because they're fairly indistinguishable. The only way I could tell the difference between Clive Palmer and Craig Kelly is Craig Kelly looks like an aged boy band member that let himself go. It's got that spiky hair. I'm sure he can bust a move.
Oh, wait, someone's confirming. No, he has joined United UAP.
Look, really? I can't fault the decision on his end.
Do you reckon
because made in heaven?
Do you think it would have been smarter for him to stay independent, hopefully get elected, and then just side with Palmer? Like, is there a possibility that a fewer people are going to vote for him based on the fact that now he's with the Palmer, whatever, the UAP?
Oh, Christ, yeah. But I think that what he and Palmer have figured out is he wants a seat and Craig Kelly wants cash.
Damn.
I think that if he was running as an independent, he just gets squashed. But now that he's got unlimited money, he won't retain the seat, but he'll do better than he would have.
What's Palmer's like freaking end plan with just constantly really injecting money for never getting any result out of it?
Because he does get results out of it.
Well, he got 0 seats.
That wasn't the aim. Well, it might have been the aim. Probably in his mind, he was thinking he was going to be the next prime minister. But I think the secondary goal was to keep Bill Shorten out. And boy, howdy, did it do that.
What was Bill going to do to him that the other parties won't?
Well, this is the whole thing. All those cucks, coal cucks that were whining about Adani. First off, they didn't understand the economics of it. They were too stupid to get the signal that Labor was putting out to the electorate, which, fair enough. Most people don't obsessively follow Australian politics. But really what he was saying was he was trying to keep Northern Queensland and Southern Queensland happy by not really committing to either or, which made the perfect wedge issue for the media and the Greens, who deliberately stoked that and made it like, oh, not doing anything about Adani, not doing anything about Adani. So Sky News could come out and say, they're doing something. They're not doing something about Adani. Disgraceful. So that was all happening. And on top of that, Clive Palmer was relentlessly running ads in Queensland, which is why they had such a poor result in Queensland. But yeah, look, as Bill Shorten said to me once, he was so right about it. Stop Adani really did stop the Labor Party in that election, and there was no way out of it. That was a good wedge move by a combined effort, really. I don't know if it was coordinated behind the scenes, but it sure did look like it between the Murdoch press, the Greens, and Clive Palmer, because they were all narrowing in on that in Queensland. But what they all knew is that, Adani is something that a bunch of Green organizations use to extract money. It's not going to ever pass. The economics is not there. But here's what did happen. Adani's not going to go ahead, but the Liberals approved dozens of new coal mines that the Labor Party most certainly would not have approved because there was no media pressure behind it. They could have just let those ones slide. And I think that Bill Shorten summed it up best when he just said, are they happy now? You know, I think this is a big problem with people. People think they're a lot smarter than they are, including myself. I'm definitely another one of those. I think Ali probably is maybe one of the only human beings on earth that knows exactly how intelligent he is. He knows that his position in life is to be that backbencher in the UN listen to a bunch of people listen to translations of the guy in front of him talking in Pakistani and then listening back to the French translation. And then one day going to his UN car, turning the key, and it being a car bomb. That you know that's supposed to be your life.
A car bomb.
Dude, I have a particular story to second that opinion. So one of the pod listeners, I'm not gonna out her. Actually, I kind of don't even remember her name, but she messaged me a huge message, which was about all the apprehensions of vaccines.
Oh shit!
Different kinds of points of view, and she was asking me, which I still haven't replied to, but like she was asking me, I trust your opinion because I've seen you on the podcast and you seem like a person that would be able to answer this question to my satisfaction. What should I do? Now, my problem is the only thing that I could think of at that point is I am not a good person to ask this question. Like, you really need to be asking a health professional because this is way beyond my expertise.
No, dude, the only person I'm going by is you. You're basically my doctor, so I can relate. I know,
but this again tells. And look, I don't want to. This is part of the reason why I don't want to out her name, but I will respond to her in the most appropriate fashion that I could. But you guys need to change your sources of information for particular things. Like, you cannot be asking a political YouTuber / podcaster about health vaccines. Like,
I disagree.
This is telling me that there's a structural problem in what philosophers call your epistemology of how you access information and which source you rely upon.
You're my main source.
But that's the thing, miss. I could be your main source for a few other things. Like if you wanted understanding about political economy, or even if you wanted to get a basic idea of what the law says about in certain situations or certain issues relating to law. But even within that,
if buy hash in Karachi.
If you want to buy a hash
you just seem like the most knowledgeable dude I know. So like basically just tell me not if to get this, tell me what to do, damn it.
Well,
I'm with her.
I'm gonna tell I will message her, but I will just recommend her to like seek appropriate advice from qualified professionals.
Well, Ali, let's just cut to the chase here. AZ or Pfizer?
Either.
That's not cutting.
Well, there you go. You just gave unsolicited advice out. And everybody just take that.
No, don't take it again. That's what I'm saying. Don't ask me. There's also a requirement for you to get health advice before you're taking AZ anyway. So you should probably do that.
Jordan, that's not cutting the chase, mate.
Anyways.
Too many words, Ali. I just want to know which one I should take because it's just annoying me. I want to go back and tour.
Well, as they say, the best vaccine is the one that is available today.
Man, that is some government program.
Well, look, I don't want to go too into it because we're probably
really
going to get like canceled for it. And our podcast is going to get flagged, even though we're not saying anything. In my opinion,
it's kind of crazy that like.
No, Miss Love, you're not allowed to talk about this subject. You just keep stuffing your mouth with, I assume, the Kafka shit.
What?
First of all, can you stop eating while you're live?
No.
No, you can't? Well, it was worth a shot.
You tried. I run this show now.
Hey, someone's saying we should talk about it on the Up Late. How about that? We can talk about it on the Up Late.
Yeah, true.
We'll go deep into it. Okay, that's a good idea. Whoever that was. Elders Millennial. Good idea. We'll do that.
I wanted to talk about Miss Love's gooch.
What?
I guess next week.
Hey, there's always time for that, baby.
Really blurring the lines between Up Late and
Jordan.
Yeah, do not.
Game_Grupp said, Geordies, you'd appreciate Videodrome. It's basically about media-induced reality distortion.
All right.
So I think
Somebody gave it to us in a sentence. Thanks, man.
I think it literally is.
God, he was really helpful. He
Oh,
was like a librarian when you go in and say, do you have Cloud Street? Yes, we've got one copy.
Cloud Street.
All right, boys, let's start the.
If you went to an Australian library and they didn't have a copy of Cloud Street, the library should lose its license.
What is it?
It's just the most Australian book ever. Everyone's father has read Cloud Street, and that's why you two immigrants don't know it.
Yeah. What the hell?
Hey, we are supposed to start it, but Jordan, boring girl just asked a question. I may as well ask if you know anything about it. Coastal erosion happening in New South Wales Central Coast.
Why would I know anything about that?
Well, from what I understand, coastal erosion just happens on every coast. Like, it takes like hundreds of thousands of years for it to slowly erode. Maybe there's like something is causing it to speed up or whatever. But sorry, we don't know anything about it, but we'll look up and we can talk about it later.
Yeah, ask us. Well, you tell us about it, boring girl. I'm sure it's
not boring.
It's not from an ABC article. Yeah.
Hey guys, Sandy just messaged me and said, I don't think I've ever seen or heard you on a pod not eating before.
No, stop stuffing your face.
It's nearly over.
No, it's so offensive. Honestly, I think watching me do a shit is less egregious.
The insanity is nearly over, trust me.
And he eats like such a Middle Eastern man having curries that getting a piece of naan and just going like this. One of those African countries in the desert where they go, I like it when we go out on desert patrols, we get to eat fresh meat every day.
All right.
You've been watching Anthony Bourdain. Oh, so you just using
no, Anthony Bourdain. He went out with a military patrol in like Mogadishu, did he?
Yeah, he does that shit all the time.
Yeah,
he's always like,
he did that shit all the time, unfortunately.
He's always just, oh yeah, R.I.P.
Anthony Bourdain, the world's most boring man.
Look, I like him too, but he's not wrong. In terms of entertainers, he is the Fousey Tube of chefs. Like,
holy shit, what a dick cut.
His entry was really early, so he became the pioneer celebrity chef. But had he come into today's concentrated market, would he be anything? Question mark.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you reckon? I don't even think he cut the mustard as one of those BuzzFeed try guys.
Oh, really?
He would have killed himself a lot earlier.
Can I? That's funny. I'll let that sustain.
The internet will kill you guys.
Boys,
dude, you're going to make me kill myself if you keep eating this, love.
I'm done. It's over. It's over.
All right, let's start the pod.
It's not over. You're still going.
Well, I can't spit it out.
No, you still look at him. He's still going. It's not over.
It's over.
What are you doing now? Where's that hand going?
It's empty.
Oh my God, it's so offensive. You fucked little Afghani Taliban cave. Eating fucked little Talibani food. Doing it the same way they do of that, like, yes.
You're offending our Muslim brother here, my friend.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot I'm on Shawarma FM. What else is going to be on Shawarma FM than some beardy weedy like Miss Love eating shawarma?
Dude, we should actually start Shawarma FM. Like, now I'm thinking it might be a good idea.
It's become quite a meme, and I don't remember how it started. Do you, Ale?
Well, it was just Miss Love talking about how he wants to start a radio show with me about Muslim stuff.
It's because of my Muslim beard, dude.
Do you realize how quickly we'll get canceled though, Miss Love?
Yeah, I know. Oh no, I'd get canceled. You'd be like propped up like a hero, like, and this poor hero was subjected.
Yeah.
I'll be Ben Affleck. You be Sam Harris.
He's weird.
What was that? What was that?
To who?
You. What did you say?
Unwillingly brought on against his will. UNSW student Ali.
This horrible Croatian man. He's not even Bosnian.
Boys, let's start the pod. We've got quite a few segments today. So, welcome
Let's
to
do it.
the Friendlyjordies podcast.
Yay.
We're happy that you have
Welcome.
joined us today in Gladistan once again, where we're locked up.
This beautiful.
That was a bad way to start. Sorry. Okay. First, actually, I have a lot of things on my agenda, but this is what I was focusing on before the pod started. So let's talk about that. Do you guys think that there is a civil war brewing up in Australia? Genuine question.
What do you mean by crisis?
What I mean is that
This is
clearly,
really more of a Schwarmer FM's question, but I'll allow it, I guess.
no, but I feel like, and the only person who sort of talked about this a little bit was Andrew Clennell, to his credit, like a month back. But he was essentially saying, and what is now being realized, is that essentially you're going to have in this post-COVID, post 80% vaccination, fault lines between, you'll have Melbourne and New South Wales that are going to be, and possibly some smaller states with them and the federal government, siding with the idea that once we've reached the 80% vaccination threshold, then you open up and start treating COVID like the flu. And then there is the Queensland and WA argument that no, that's not, it gives us added protection, but that is not a point when you open up. You open up when the cases are zero or as close to zero as possible, which seems to be impossible without lockdowns. So do you think that this struggle is going to intensify?
To the point that there's a civil war.
Well, to the point where, like, look,
defeat the purpose of lockdowns, wouldn't it?
but I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying civil war in the sense that, but these are the things that lead to animosity. Because now we're talking about the possibility that by Christmas, people in New South Wales would be able to fly to New York, but not to Perth.
Yeah, look.
And Perth is the New York of Australia. How ironic.
Well, I'd say
I really do like that West Australia found a back door into seceding. They want that, and let them do it.
No, come on.
Why? I'm perfectly fine with there being two countries in a country that's, how big is Australia? I bet you it's like 70 Europes. It's massive.
Yeah, it's
Hey, can I
massive.
suggest not naming it East Australia and West Australia? We tried to do that and it was a bad idea. Just saying.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
because East Pakistan decided that it doesn't want to have anything to do with Pakistan and became Bangladesh.
Yeah, well, they should have learned their lesson, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they learned their lesson by having an economy that is outperforming Pakistan's economy.
No.
Yes.
Oh, what the hell?
Facts are facts.
How did they get in on the playing field there? That's
a very
that's probably time for another pod. I suppose we should just talk about the much more interesting place on earth, Perth.
Well,
look, what do you think's the best scenario there?
Well, I think the best.
Look, I hate to agree with Gladys Berejiklian, but it's probably just live with it, die. You had a good run.
And
leave Bangladesh.
And to be fair, that's going to be Melbourne's point of view as well, if not yet already. I seriously think that the way WA and Queensland are looking at it is flawed, and they will eventually learn when their cases. Look, you can almost see every state's opinion changing with the number of cases. So you had Dan Andrews, who was talking about how, and rightly, New South Wales lockdown isn't tight enough, and we shouldn't be talking about opening up. Vaccination rates are far ahead. We need to be focusing on zero. And now he's coming to the terms with the fact that even if you do exactly what you think is right, Delta will keep growing or stagnate. Now, we don't know where Victoria is going to end up. Hopefully, it doesn't go anywhere close to what New South Wales is, but there is a high possibility that it might. And once you reach that, then his opinion on opening up, it's already sort of transforming. It's evolving with his
Ali,
situation.
as you were saying before, you're more than qualified to talk about COVID on a medical level.
This is not a medical level. This is an administrative level.
Yeah. But you're a doctor. You're qualified in it. That's why you're doing your Juris Doctorate in law now, because you're getting overly qualified. But
It's all true.
do you think that variants will just keep ricocheting around the world and it'll just keep getting more and more intense and the vaccines won't work and eventually we'll all die?
Again, this is way out of my expertise, and I'm going to preface this, but that is likely not to happen. Eventually,
This isn't Studio 10, is it? Fuck, sorry, go on.
That's probably not. But you know what is actually a big concern?
Oh, as if you don't think that's a concern?
No, that is a concern,
I'm
but
quite
I don't think
concerned by that.
it's not as doomsday as you think. So that happened with the Spanish flu. Exactly the way you're talking about that. Like, it kept circulating in most countries without vaccines, but it took years. But eventually, it viruses and like extreme turbocharged viruses do have a life. Like, they can span years, but they can eventually reach a point where it's like the flu. Like, every human being eventually develops immunity, or if you're not immune from it, then you develop like herd immunity that protects people that aren't infected by it anyway. But that usually happens once most people have been infected, and it takes years and a lot of casualties. But the concern right now is that we're trying to like stop that before it takes those 5 years of everyone getting infected by it. And we're doing that through vaccination. Now, there is a scenario that most of the first world gets vaccinated, but most of the third world is not. So the virus keeps circulating in high numbers in developing countries, and that would give it room for more mutations. So what you ideally want is not just your country to be vaccinated, but all countries to be vaccinated. And that gives you a shot, not a guarantee, but a shot.
Well, do you know anything about Israel, Ali, at all?
Yeah, I
Can
know.
you locate it on a map?
Israel.
What do you mean in terms of?
No. I asked the wrong person about this. You're the expert, aren't you?
Correct. Israel is
We
a small island.
This, that you don't know how to pronounce Israel correctly, do you, Ali? You don't even know how to pronounce fucking Olympics correctly.
You don't know how to pronounce it. You don't know how to pronounce Israel. It's pronounced Palestine, dickhead.
Oh, BuzzFeed in the house, yo.
Come on. In another life, looking at Ali, BuzzFeed would be in the house. We're just lucky we saved him.
BuzzFeed is in the house. But anyways, look.
But dude, you know, apparently, isn't the whole deal in Israel that they're figuring out that the vaccine only has a shelf life of about 6 months?
7 months, yes.
Wow. Well, that's all my fears allayed.
No, but like it has reduced efficacy. It has a reduced level of immunity, not complete.
Well, how much is reduced? 80%?
I don't know. Again, this is going into trajectory which I'm not qualified for, but I can tell you it's reduced.
Well, I'm sure that this all helped nudge Miss Love along to getting vaccinated.
The thing is, US.
I'm not going to comment because all that'll happen is the screen will go beep.
Look, let's talk about this on the up late, and we can go into details, and I won't be too scared to talk about it, even with my non-expertise.
Can we all at least admit it is very scary, the censorship that can happen through this?
Yes, that we can all agree. But okay, now moving on to a different topic, COVID lab theory.
What is that?
COVID lab leak theory. We got some development.
Please, Ali, can we just skip this one?
Can we? We should do this in the fucking up late. We're gonna get fucking shut down.
Okay,
all right. How did this? Jesus.
All right, let's talk about bees then. Is that
yes? Good? That's okay.
Okay, Jordan, you should preface the B segment by explaining what your ideas were, and then we can contribute.
Well, someone's contacted me, and you'll never guess this from Ali's introduction, but they're keen on bees. I'm firmly in the anti-bee camp. I can't wait until we're all wiped out off the face of the planet.
Oh,
Imagine if that was my official stance. Friendlyjordies, one of the most prominent environmentalists in the country, anti-bees.
dude, how good's that?
Anti-bees.
Loves certain species, but isn't a fan of the species that allows every species to survive.
So
Damn. Extreme anti-vaxxer.
Don't even, Jesus.
But don't you reckon that really would short the goal? If you were thinking of a evil genius way to destroy the planet, that'd be it.
Gee, I hope no one's thought of
Probably
that.
more efficient than stealing nuclear codes.
I don't know if we should be even. You're right, but it's like, I don't think anyone's thought of that. You might have just. Christ, I don't know.
Nah, it was a Black Mirror episode. Look, I'll let you in on a little secret, Miss Love. I don't know anything, but I watch a lot of it.
Hey, you and me both, bud.
So Jordan, what's the issue?
This is a classic hipster point you've probably come across in your life. And I'd like everyone in the comments to tell me if they've heard this before, but has your barista, who, not as a joke, legitimately does watch a lot of Netflix, told you, bees are dying out and that's really problematic. But fortunately in Australia, because we don't have this mite, they're not dying out here. So yeah, anyway, did you want some milk with your long black? No. Well, then I'd order a flat white, you fucking moron. Why are you? But that he comes up with, that's the talking point. What I found out is that that's just a huge cover up. The difference between us and the rest of the planet is we're so backwards. Our government hates the environment so much that they're just not keeping account on bee populations. And they are declining here rapidly.
Really?
Because we're using a bunch of pesticides that have been banned pretty much throughout the rest of the world. And that, my friends, is terrifying me. So I came up with, because I started reading about it, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about it. The Vatican, I think it might have been Pope Francis, came out and said, if you're going to live on the double roof, make sure that you have a Beyonce and a baby.
That is a policy I can get behind.
That is, you belong in the Vatican, don't you, Miss Love?
Yes.
Catholic, really Catholic. If he told you to go on a crusade tomorrow, I think that is something that you would die for. If you had to defend Australia against Indonesia, you'd probably be for it, but sleep in. But I can guarantee you, if they said, get up a shield with a cross on it and a sword, you'd be fighting Ali tomorrow.
I mean, the Vatican mainly revolves like pearl clutching these days. You know, I think it's a little bit more of like, do you want Cabernet?
Isn't it just the Queen with an Italian accent?
Pretty much.
Isn't that what he does, Ali? It's the same thing. He just has heaps of wealth, sits around in rings, and then has his little Christmas message of, did you have a turkey? That's okay, see you next year.
He's more powerful than the Queen, in my opinion. The Queen has mostly ceremonial powers, and most of her powers are restricted to getting rid of Australian prime ministers. But the Pope basically is a head of a huge organization, which is the Catholic Church, that has branches all over the world, and they do take policy directives from. So he's not just the Governor General, but he is also the Prime Minister of like very meta matters.
You're really not even saying that. You're saying he's a CEO of a massive corporation.
He's the chairman of a massive corporation.
Bosh.
Hey, have you guys heard...
Ali, you should really watch The Godfather 3 and then explain to me what happened in it.
And then you can go back and talk about how crazy it is that a cat walked on a table once. Have you guys heard?
That doesn't do with anything. First of all, that is crazy if that did happen. And I can't believe that you just dropped this bombshell. We're going to have to devote an entire segment of this podcast about that.
We already did last week.
Well, round 2, just like the Godfather 2, there needs to be preparation to the themes.
Yeah. Cats have ability to move their limbs.
So, okay,
well, that was a good cover, but like, yeah, he said that, and then there was some studies into this Vatican bee policy, and they were saying that, wow, these are some of the healthiest bees on earth. Bees in the city do really well off because their diets are so rich from all the different flowers and plants that people have in their gardens, as opposed to what is essentially the entire countryside of the planet now, which is either wheat or rice. And so that's not that good for them. And now I think that what I should be pushing as the Pope of Australia, as you can plainly see, very patriotic, ass on the flag, right there. My loyal subjects. First off, crusade against Ali. That's the first part, definitely. The second
Who
part,
would Ali choose?
the first order. Huh? Ali, this is the next order as Pope of Australia. While you're fighting off these hordes of Christians, what do you think about the bee policy? Because I was thinking that we should just sell these hives. I really think that that's a win-win. Get yourself a hive, because this is something that's incredible. In Australia, there are 11 species of bees that are stingless. So why not put those hives in your backyard? You can get honey off them. You don't get stung. You're helping out the environment massively. And I'm sure there's some other benefits.
Okay, so Jordan calls me last night, miss, and he's been researching on all this because he wants to make videos on it.
Yeah.
And his idea is that we sell live beehives somehow from my garage, right? So I had no idea how the fuck that works. So I started Googling it.
Or a Kennards.
Here's some stark realities. Number one, I cannot store live bees. I do not have the infrastructure to do that. Secondly, even if I could, maintaining a healthy beehive is actually a very expensive activity because you need to manage an ecosystem for them to survive. Otherwise, they die.
What ecosystem? Don't you just chuck them in the backyard like worms?
Apparently, people that are successfully able to do it spend a lot of money and a lot of time and gain expertise in how to do it. Now, there are some alternatives to this idea that we could use to help with regeneration of bees, I suppose. Number one, either instead of selling live bees, how about we sell Friendlyjordies bee-themed socks and donate a proportion of that to organizations that have the infrastructure to do this.
He's smart.
Good ethical organizations. Or, Miss Love, for your concern, I can look up honey producers that are contributing to this and we could sell honey.
Yeah.
And lastly, if you are interested in the idea of having backyard bees, what you can do is you have these bee houses that you can put in your backyard that basically give refuge to wild bees that are coming over, because a lot of times they have to travel insane amounts of distances to their
doing that in a hive.
Well, a hive is an existing colony that you're looking to establish somewhere to populate. A bee house is essentially refuge for bees that are part of a colony that are either tired. They're called bee hotels as well.
Shit.
Oh, an insect hotel.
Yeah, an insect hotel. So they've got
we should sell them.
That's crazy.
But
Miss, you look at it, it's better than your house.
Oh, dude, no doubt. No doubt. I'm all for it. I think I think it's awesome. I think that I think this is like the issue of our time. It's like
you know why you think that as well?
Why?
Because Senator Mitch McConnell thinks that it is.
I don't like Senator Mitch McConnell. I never said I like him. I just
all right.
watch.
No, that's it. No,
I like him.
You're copping it. Well, finally, someone says something sensible on this podcast for once, but
I don't like
I need
fucking
to
that.
repeat this. First off, digitally hand me over some of that vape. But second,
There you go.
this is one of the most distinct memories I have. Watching a movie that went way too long with Christo, both of us falling asleep, me going back into the room that I was sharing with you because we were down filming one of our little exposés.
This is pre-COVID, before the restrictions. Just putting it out there.
Yep. That's probably smart. And I walk in and Miss Love has no shirt on, no light, just him and his fat little ET belly looking down into his phone.
Fuck off.
And it was Mitch McConnell doing an address to an empty Senate room. And it was 3 a.m. in the morning. And he was sitting there saying, President Donald Trump has reduced certain pollutants by as much as 13% in his presidency.
Dude.
And he was sitting there doing the thing that when I know for a fact that he's paying attention when he does this face.
I have an answer.
He was soaking it in, Marley.
I have an answer to that though.
Go on. I'd love to hear it.
I enjoy all the political speeches of our rich democratic stew. It's just that you caught me at that time watching that particular old dude being like, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care what side of the. I wouldn't care what side of the fucking. I like watching. I don't care what side of the politics they're on. I like watching heady old people being like, Section 3, Mr. Speaker, you can see. I used to watch Question Time on the ABC for hours. That was my sitcom.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Question Time's actually entertaining. Mitch McConnell, the only thing that's entertaining about Mitch McConnell is that his jowls somehow box. That's it.
Dude, the most entertaining. I resent that fact. The most entertaining thing about Mitch McConnell is when he's making some statement and he takes a very small break to do this. And then he continues. That is the most entertaining thing about his speeches.
I just like.
You know what? That is sustained.
I just like old people, like American politics, Australian, just sitting there and just like the not. It's like the not edgy stuff, the not even interesting. Just like there's something like mesmerizing about seeing politicians being like, and that could be seen in subsection 3 of Part A. I'm sorry, that's subsection 4. I retract that previous statement.
Would you say that that's your ASMR?
Maybe, yeah.
Dude, everyone in the comments keeps saying that that's Miss Love's porn. Were you jerking off to Turkey, Mitch McConnell?
Look, we haven't got there yet. Never say never.
It will eventually happen.
Never say never. Damn, Miss Love never closes a door without opening a window.
You did like that though, just me being like,
Because it's
the most boring man.
It's like, yeah, it's the most boring man on earth. And you're watching him at 3 a.m.
I don't know.
Just the addition of you not wearing a shirt. It's incredible because I don't think anyone on earth watched that speech. No one was in the room. It was him saying, it's time to reflect on Donald Trump's presidency and accomplishments that he's made.
Dude, I suppose, I don't know, Aubrey does strange things to a man. What can I tell you?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, Sandy's no better. She just sits there and watches Dr. Phil episodes that she's already seen.
At this point, we should say hello to Sandy, who is watching.
Hey, Sandy.
Yeah, but Sandy. In fact, write this in the comments. Tell me, who's more entertaining? Everybody vote on this now. Dr. Phil or Judge Judy? Go.
Ooh, let's make a panel, a poll. That's the one.
Oh, and also, can everyone tell me what you think? Can we just get beehives going, and can Ali store them in his garage?
I have to say,
Let's do a poll on it, and if it's more than 51%, he has to.
Can we get a poll to see what would you rather buy? Socks that are bee themed, that's whose profits go to a organization, or do you want to buy bee houses?
I think that's the best one. Insect hotels.
Insect hotels.
It all sounds awesome to me. I mean, Ali's and B's Garage or the socks are all great options. I think I appreciate. I think Jordan's got the right. The sentiment is right, but then Ali, ever the pragmatist, figured out that maybe having live bees in his garage is kind of silly. So like, it's all.
Yeah, it was more of a mislove idea. I shouldn't have let Ali in on it.
I would. I mean, I basically live in a beehive, so. But dude, it's a fucking. It's crunch time, people. We've read about, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, guys. Everyone listening. The ice caps are melting, yo. No, it's true.
Mhm.
And
this is very troubling, Mister.
yes, and the bees are dying. So it's time for us to get serious on a grassroots level. Don't have a lawn, have a garden. Can we make let's start that hashtag. Hashtag no lawns.
Wait, what's the difference? Garden has plants?
Yeah,
as opposed to just grass.
It attracts bees, and it actually creates like sustainable environments for them and environments for them to survive and thrive. Imagine if there was little bee communities on every fucking in every house and every apartment in Sydney, rooftop gardens.
Imagine the nectar you could get from that.
But seriously,
steal their labor.
Isn't it strange that we're talking about pretty much the theme of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? We're at that stage where it's kind of your civic duty and you should be looked down on if you're not harboring animals.
I mean,
boys, we've got a poll going. Someone did it.
Oh shit.
On what?
The three questions are friendly bee socks, second option bee hotels, third option friendly bee boys shirts.
Okay.
Friendly bee boys. Was that one of the options?
Yeah, I don't know.
They decided to add their own little creative flair, do they?
I'm gonna
We're the creatives.
Yeah.
I voted for something as well because
I might vote as well. I'm gonna go.
We'll come back with the results in a bit.
I'll be sensible.
Wait, everyone vote for hotels.
Look, you don't have to encourage them. This is supposed to be honest opinion. You can't ask them what to do.
I mean, B Hotels is drastically taking the lead.
Yes,
now.
Jordan, you just ruined the sample.
Fucking
hell, Jordan.
Holy hell. Jesus. I am a little Sean Hannity, aren't I?
Hey, he's from New York.
Yeah, I think I could guess that from his accent.
Fuck. I didn't know that there were conservatives from New York.
What do you, dude? Anyone that sounds like they're from Boston,
that
lives in New York, is going to be conservative.
Hey, by the way, people are also just being like, Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, Judy. It looks like Judge Judy has taken that poll.
And someone has recommended a name for the bee hotels as well. They recommend that we name it Airbnb.
Oh,
man. Hey, far out. I love crowdsourcing my life.
Yeah.
I just realized I don't have to do anything anymore. I just say, hey, can you guys just do journalism for me? And then there'll just be 100 people. You know what my life is now? It's crazy, when Homer became a manager and he said, are you guys working? Yes. You work harder? Sure thing, boss. Hey, call me Jordan.
Dude. It's funny because it's true, but it's like, what other industry in the world does that happen? Work hard and then people do it for you. Like, I don't see a baker working hard for 6 years and then being like, all right, my nan's gonna bake for me now, and She'll give me the bread and the money. See ya.
Holy shit, boys! I might say that the sample of this poll is actually getting a lot of votes, like in several hundreds, like 500, 600. So this might actually be a good sample. And right now, if I may say, socks and B hotels are very neck to neck.
Shit. Yeah. They
Okay.
are.
It could be an either or, but I honestly think, Ali, just stack your garage with B hotels,
Hey,
Airbnbs.
I'll have you know, just not to interrupt, Jordan, but I'll have you know, I just spent something called channel points. I spent 5 channel points to vote on this. So just, you're welcome.
What's a
Go on.
channel point?
I don't know. I just learned it, but
Something related to the channel?
I think so. I just learned about it and just, I felt, live life on the edge.
Okay, well, look, we'll come.
Well, that's
to
clearly
that.
Muflov's philosophy.
Let's move
Doing
to
his
a
job.
different topic, and we'll announce the results in a bit. Have you guys been
Are
following?
you scared about it? Hang on. Before we go,
Mhm.
you really don't want the insect hotels, do you?
Yeah, I really don't want it.
How
Because
would
it's
he
gonna
do
be-
that?
It's going to be expensive to get them delivered because there'll be big boxes. It'll require more storage, and overall, it's going to be more annoying for me.
Also,
Socks
you-
on the
Those
other
are all
hand,
good reasons for why you should vote for insect hotels.
but you, like, you could have some in your backyard though, right? Because I'd do that too.
What? What
I'd
does
have
it do?
I'd have a beehive.
yeah, but
Yeah, I'd have a beehive too. Can't we just go back to that idea? I feel
Yeah.
like we're cheaping out with a hotel. Like, why not give them a home instead of an Airbnb?
Yeah. And dude, if they don't sting you, what's the downside? You can just walk
Yeah.
through them like
well,
a
they won't
messiah.
survive.
Sorry?
They'll die.
I'm
Why?
really skeptical about this. I thought that you could just leave them to their own devices and they just get on with it.
Okay, so we've got results.
Yeah.
19% say friendly B-boy shirts. 39% say friendly B socks. And 43% by
Shit.
a narrow
Whoa.
margin, which is
Shit.
challengeable and rigged, in my opinion, is 43%.
Rigged. It
First
was
of
a
all,
rigged election.
1,800 people voted for it, and we have 500 people watching. So I don't know how the fuck that happened.
What? What the fuck? It must have been all those points.
Yeah, maybe, but
Cam Wilson must have got his audience to vote.
some
Shout
people
out.
voted 100 times. Apparently, that's
Holy
it.
crap.
Wow.
All right,
it's
so it's settled. We're doing socks then. Let's move on.
No, not just so lame.
Look, I'll look into beehives. Maybe there's a way of doing it, but I'm just gonna say it might be money that's not well spent for the people because you might not attract bees in your bee hotel.
I don't think it matters about that. I think it is giving insects a place of refuge to live and reproduce.
There are also seeds that you can put in your garden that will attract bees.
Fuck yeah, that's sick too.
Well, I made a fish pond at Tu's house because it's a good feng shui. And it is good feng shui. Bees are constantly going there for a drink.
Oh, that's
I love it.
sick.
I think it's even more entertaining than the goldfish.
That's sick.
And as we all know, both of those are much more entertaining than a PlayStation 5. So I actually really enjoy watching stupid animals kind of doing their own little thing in life.
Wait, guys,
Malicious pleasure.
Malicious Carly said Jimmy's bee friendly seed packs. It's not a bad idea.
Damn, that's not a bad idea.
That is, I'm screenshotting that. Thank you, Malicious Carly. That's kind of
Not malicious at all. Yeah, you should.
should change your name.
Can we get another poll going? What should we do here? Should we get the insect hotel? Should we get the seed pack? Or should we start a hashtag cancel Judge Judy just to piss Sandy off?
To piss who off?
Sandy.
Oh, just to piss Sandy off. Surely Sandy doesn't watch Judge Judy.
No, she does. Believe me.
I mean, I watched that in like high school when there was no such thing as like the internet. Essentially, you just had to watch whatever was on, or Foxtel if you had it. There's no way Sandy is choosing to watch Judge Judy actively. There's no way.
See, if you watch commercial television, you'll watch anything that's on. So I wouldn't be surprised. But
Sandy,
Miss, we'll move on to another topic because we've got a big list.
Okay.
All right, how about this one? So there's a new controversy surrounding the Queen. And by Queen, you might think I mean Elizabeth, but no.
No.
Remember, I'm BuzzFeed. I mean Beyonce.
Okay.
So Beyonce and her husband, Jay-Z, did a brand deal with Tiffany & Co., which is a jewelry brand. And she's came out and she, for her marketing or whatever, she was wearing a very famous yellow diamond.
Okay.
Which is something that only a handful of people have had the opportunity to wear. One of them is Lady Gaga as well, but comes in late. So now Beyonce is being canceled on the internet because they are saying that that particular diamond is a known blood diamond.
Yeah.
Now, it was discovered or in the 1800s in South Africa, and it is safely, it can be said that it was used, it was extracted through slave labor or labor that was very menially paid for.
Right.
Now, that's the controversy. And so some people have argued, how come this never became an issue when Lady Gaga wore it? To which a few people have said that the reason is that Lady Gaga's last album wasn't called Ode to Africa.
Shit. Holy shit. It was called Ode to Africa. And really?
So she's gotten into trouble.
Hey, is this a hashtag unpopular opinion? Fuck, I hate Beyonce.
That is a hashtag. Well, you're siding with the internet trolls now, huh? You want to cancel her too?
Now, when haven't I?
Yeah.
Look, do you like Jay-Z and Beyonce? Do you really think that there's anything nice or holy about that couple?
No.
Don't you think that if you really needed a poster couple of the Illuminati, look no further? I think even the Bilderbergs would look at them and think, that family is evil, that tells you.
Wait, why do you hate Beyonce? Just because she's part of the Illuminati?
I hate that every song that she's ever made sounds like she's warming up to sing. I really hate it. Like, it's every single time. It's just like, yeah, we get it. You would have come like 6th in American Idol. Okay.
Oh my god! Damn. You reckon? I think she sings well.
Jimmy's spitting those truths.
Look, I really don't think that she does. I hate that she did that to Michelle from Destiny's Child just because she was uglier and clearly couldn't sing as well. You didn't have to do that to her. Just drag along the dead weight for the rest of your life.
Wait, so to summarize Jordan's opinion on this, cancel her because she sucks, not necessarily because of the diamond.
Oh, I couldn't have put it better myself. What are your boys' views?
I say,
I can't tell if it's a cigar or a vape. You look at him. His footage is so shit. He can't. There's no light extraction there at all.
You'll never
from that angle. You can't tell because there's nothing reflecting off it.
Right. Well, I'm gonna keep it a secret.
Look at him. He looks like one of those like Viva la Revolution. Cuba.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Ali?
I reckon that this is one of those segments that I feel we have to do because of the algorithm, but I really don't give a fuck. Straight up, I really, really do not care about this.
What's your opinion on Beyonce? Is she hot or not?
I think she's very, very. She was fine until like some people made her like some sort of royalty, which she does not deserve. Because
not even
we all know the only person that deserves royalty is Cher, and she
Yeah.
ain't getting it.
I mean, what's that all about?
I agree. Like, I feel like
It's very hard to hate her when you look at her though, because you're just like, such a fine ass.
I'm not a huge. I'm kind of the same. I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of their music, and like, I don't know. I got no problem with people getting rich and shit, but it's like, when you get to that like Kanye, Jay-Z level rich, like billionaire, it's like, I don't know. I kind of not. It's like a different planet. You're not. There's nothing to. It's silly to even comment. It's like whatever. They're just.
Have
they're
you listened to Kanye's new album, Miss?
Yes.
What? What's okay? Let's get a review.
Have you listened to it?
No, I haven't, but I've heard like snippets of it where he's wearing a mask, pretending to be like part of the SWAT team or some shit.
Yeah. So like, Donda. I'm not some like massive Kanye fan, but dude, I didn't mind it. It's got some bangers, mad production, but like, it's no Yeezus, is what I'd say. But I didn't mind it. It's like, dude, it's 2 hours long. And it's like 24 songs. I'd say like, there's good moments.
Well,
Eh,
you
yeah,
have to admit he's a very productive man. He 24 songs in an album.
yeah, but like some of the songs, like, dude, you know what the first song is of the album, and I'm not exaggerating at all, at all.
Hmm.
This is the opening track to the album, and it goes for like 2 minutes. Danda, 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 danda,
Wait, are you
danda, danda.
serious?
Play it right now.
No, I can't because we'll get copyrighted. But
I'm not exaggerating.
Isn't that
Music.
incredible? Because it's so unoriginal. It's a follow-up from Poopty Scoop.
Exactly.
yeah, he should be
Exactly.
plagiarized.
And
Wait, you've listened to it too,
worse.
Jordan?
Huh?
You've listened to the new album as well?
No, Christ, no. He's just, as far as I'm concerned, he's just male Beyonce.
I think he's cooler than Beyonce.
I think, all right, let's just go through this. Who are your most hated celebs? And everybody in the comments write it as well. But I hate Beyonce. I hate Kanye West. I hate Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, I second that one.
I hate Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, me too. What is up with that? Why do you hate him?
Because it's like, dude, you're not witty. Just stop. Like, what was Deadpool? Let's be honest. It was self-aware, was it? Was it actually self-aware? I don't think so. I think it was pretty much just two guys, a girl, and a pizza place, except now he's ugly.
Oh shit. Well, I also share your views on Ryan Reynolds, but I think I share him because I saw a really old movie of his where he played a jerk, and I'm just morphing his actual personality into the character's personality.
Well, here's another question, Ali. When does he not play a jerk?
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's very one-dimensional.
It's just the same character over and over again, and it's not a likable character. He's found a niche in being, yeah, I'm cocky, but you're also 50. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't like.
so cancel Ryan and Beyonce.
Not cancel. I think fuck. Let's stop with the canceling, but like, it's more a question of who you do like most. Don't you think most of the people in Hollywood are terrible, terrible people? Don't you reckon? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Surely.
Cher, I love Cher.
Yeah, but is she alive? Like, that doesn't count.
Yeah, that's true. She could be a mummy. Who knows?
A corpse, a reanimated corpse. Like, I don't know. I think the whole. I was thinking about this the other day. I think the whole. This is not a unique thought, but like, I feel like the whole fucking city or like Hollywood is just like all this shit that's coming out now with like, like Me Too or whatever and all these movements. It's just like, it's kind of like this. It's just showing how like fucked it is, the whole industry. Like it's like just the nature of that industry, isn't it? It's just like, you want to be a star, huh? I can make you a star. Like it's quite a
There is something about being in that industry and having some power that you think that rules don't apply to you. But
oh
also, a lot
yeah,
of the rules don't apply to you. So fair enough.
exactly. Exactly. So it's like, you know,
Well, who do you like then?
who do I like?
Hugh Jackman, love him.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, you
he's
know
a
who I
very
like?
nice man.
You know who I like? I
I
like
put him in my top 5 of who I hate.
Really?
Yeah, and I like Russell Crowe.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
This
I
is
was-
a 2013 argument that we had ages ago, but
dude, basically the only people I like in Hollywood are the whole cast of the nice
Hang on,
guy.
hang on. Sorry, I've got a breaking news here. Sandy, these are the following texts that she wrote to me. They're more abusive than my nan.
Shit.
She's asking for an update on my nan. It's just like, how about you look in the mirror, Sandy?
Oh my.
It starts with this. Starts with this. Hello, cock breath. First intro.
I like it. This seems that's the
Thank you
friend.
so much. The next one. We're not getting any bees, you fuck.
Oh.
Come on, it's more brutal than my nan.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
pretty
in your
brutal.
life.
But
Everyone in your life.
very much like your nan, on point.
No, it's like I can't argue.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why aren't we getting bees? Sandy, tell me that in Twitch. Like, I can't handle any more abuse on my own private number.
We'll,
But yeah. Hang on, yeah. What are the celebs you guys like?
I like
Joey from Friends. I'm sure he's all right.
the only celebs I like is the entire cast of that movie, The Nice Guy, which is Russell Crowe and what's his name?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, the hunk. Yeah. That's
I
it.
thought you were going to say that you liked the entire cast of the Goodfellas, but I'm pretty sure that that's just 7 clones of Joe Pesci.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hey, Joe Pesci. I like him too. There you go.
I like Marlon Brando. I wish he was still alive.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. I like all the 80s action heroes that weren't self-aware. I hate any Hollywood celebrity that's got that kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the audience. Do away with that. Just have a funny accent or fuck off.
I just like 80s movies. I don't know if you've noticed, Jordan, but I don't know if your Amazon Prime has had some recommended movies, but I have been rinsing their 1980 to 1985 section, let me tell you.
Yeah? What's going on?
Dude, every movie from the 80s and 90s is just infinitely better. There's no CGI, so they have to actually blow shit up. Everything on the screen happens on the screen. And it's also like sexy and fun and cool. And all the music's like, and it's always just like, quick, get in the Mustang, let's go. Like, it's just mad. I watched like every Jet Li movie up until like 95, 98, and then they start to get a bit shit. But like all those movies where it's just like Chinese kung fu movies dubbed in English are just like, we must go. The princess will die. And he just like backflips off a 10-story building in real life.
Look,
so...
I'll shorten this for you, Ali. Miss Love likes anything that's cheap. So I think that if he could include as his favorite film of all time, like a Glad rap ad from 2004,
hey,
I'll take the cake.
Bilo knew what they were doing, mate. Good recommendation.
Hey, what do you think about reality TV?
I think I am inclined not to watch it. One episode doesn't get me, but when I was a child, I used to be very into it.
Survivor?
Jerry Springer.
Yes.
Does that count as reality TV? I really don't think that in real life there's that many people smashing other cunts with chairs.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, wait,
It's
what
like-
about WWE? I think that's reality TV, and I used to be very into that.
Yeah, no, you've got a point. Look,
Yeah.
I really can't see any difference between Jerry Springer and Oprah now, apart from he combined the chair smashing. It was like, does anyone know this? Was Jerry Springer scripted? To
I
a
don't
degree.
know.
Or did they
Hey,
just
Jordan.
get a bunch of psychos from prison and dress them up in Tom Hardy's clothes and let him duke it out?
Hey,
Yeah.
Jordan, you gotta can you answer questions about the court case or not really?
What is it?
You don't have to answer. I'm just curious. He said player 47 VC said, why are you paying
47 BC?
VC, yeah. Why are you paying court costs when Bros made the claim? The one that makes the claim is the one that is supposed to pay the court cost. No, you gotta pay for your own lawyers.
Oh, right.
Well, that is a question that can
But
be
to answer your
answered.
question, I don't know. You really asking the wrong guy. I was there stupefied the whole time, trying to remember the Latin that I did in year 7.
Well,
That's what happens with those.
I
Oh
can
my-
answer that question in general terms. If you sue someone for defamation, then you initially have to pay for your lawyer's cost. But in case you win the case, then part of the damages includes your legal cost that will be paid by your adversary.
Ah,
Can you explain this to me then, Ali? This is probably too late to find out, but if I lose, do I have to pay everything?
You probably don't want to get into this now. We can talk about this later, but it depends what you define
like,
as everything.
oh, it's so good. It's like going for the all-you-can-eat pizza and then halfway through being like, I changed my mind.
The answer is it depends on the judgment.
On the judgment. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Right.
But look. I understand how that's on everyone's mind, but I don't know if this is the most appropriate forum, even though everyone's going to hate me for saying this.
No, he's right. He's right.
Neither do I. I'm not sure about that either. Nonetheless, I'll answer all your questions. This is an AMA.
Sorry. It's my bad.
Let's move on. Jordan, here's a new question for you that I was actually interested in. This is me being an audience member. Have you heard of molten salt nuclear reactors powered by thoriums?
Yes.
So what's the deal with that? Because
the deal is that it's a complete con. Anybody that's saying otherwise, first off, just know this. There are a million of these little rabbit holes that people go down of thorium 10x 180, fusion power, molten salt.
Okay, wait, let me before you go into this, let me just tell people in case you don't know what it is. So I found out about it today. So thorium is basically a substitute for uranium. There are a few advantages that I have read about associated with creating electricity from thorium. First of all, it's difficult to do. China is doing a pilot project right now, and we'll find out if it is possible or not. But the argument is, first of all, that it uses no water to cool the reactor, which is one of the things that you have to do with uranium, which is very water intensive. The second thing is in thorium waste, as opposed to having to keep it for thousands of years, only has to be kept for 500 years, which is still a long time. And
so
lastly,
half of the span of the Roman Empire. That's all we last as a civilization. Eh? Well, hashtag goals.
Yeah, and last one is that thorium is very unlikely to be used for weapons, which is partly the reason why the U.S. abandoned it in the first place, because they initially wanted to create nuclear power from thorium, but then they realized that they're not going to be able to make nuclear weapons, which was the whole point of making nuclear reactors in the first place. So they abandoned that project until recently. China is doing a test project to match their 2015 carbon emission goals. Now, Jordan, what do you so what were you saying? So it's the same thing with a different name?
Same thing with a different name. Every time, there's always all of these new whiz bang things that are just around the corner when it comes to nuclear power that they've been talking about since the 50s. Thorium was big in the 70s, I think, or 60s maybe. And the pilot ones that they're always talking about, first off, they use uranium anyway.
That's
They
true.
have to use it to enrich the thorium. So
That
you
is
are
true.
getting that waste product regardless. When it comes to the molten salts, what they never tell you is that Russia tried to do it. They realized that it was just so prone to nuclear fires. Molten salts in the US, when they tried to do it, they realized it's the most complicated waste to clean up out of all of them. Thorium is another one of these myths that they always say, it just hasn't been invested in. You just need to invest in it. No, what you need to invest in is renewables. That's what you need to invest in. Stop going into these technological wonder world things that are always brought out. And this is really interesting. Thorium has huge surges every time there's a nuclear meltdown. So around Chernobyl and around Fukushima, you will see it flooded in the press. How do we stop these in the future? Well, thorium, will probably be ready in 2 weeks. We're doing trials at the moment, and then they shut up about it, and then nerds on the internet just keep it going, right? Now, I've watched videos of engineers talking about this. So I'm not putting it in inverted commas, they are engineers. But the thing is, engineers have such a narrow stream of consciousness. They're just looking at, can we build this thing? They're not thinking about maintenance. They're not thinking about where to store the waste. All they're concerned with is building the project. And then everything else like that is just very shallow afterwards. And I remember when they were talking about thorium, they said that the experiments in the past that they did created this is hazy now, but I'm pretty sure it's tritium.
Damn.
It did. It absolutely did create tritium, but they just say it didn't, and then you just move on to the next point. But tritium is a really toxic substance. It's in fact, there's a UK Parliament did an inquiry into it. It's 5 times more dangerous than what they originally thought it was anyway. These are things that it's just a lot of the time, and the reason that you don't see this is the same thing with pesticides. These countries just want to keep pumping out nuclear energy so they can make weapons, really. Let's be honest about it. There's a big coincidence if you look at the countries that have nuclear power and the countries that produce nuclear weapons. There's a few counterexamples like Japan, but the vast majority of them, they're doing it for weapons. In fact, the US admitted it in some papers a while back, I think under Rick Perry. Rick Perry was saying, if we shut down all of these nuclear power plants, how are we going to treat our nuclear submarines? So they're admitting it. Yeah. They're admitting that the reason they're keeping it going is to create weapons, because it makes no economic sense at all. They've never worked by themselves. They've always had to be massively subsidized. They are not worth the money that they ever make. I think that there was a study that came out from Germany that said that they've never turned a profit. Not one nuclear power plant ever in the history of the world has ever turned a profit. And anyone that says otherwise is not talking about startup costs. They're just saying, oh, after you massively subsidize the entire construction of it, and then a company just buys it off the government so it has even less oversight after that, then they're turning a profit. It's a terrible idea. Anything that you hear about fusion, thorium, some miracle nuclear power plant that runs off of nuclear waste from other nuclear power plants, just no, they've been saying it since the 70s. It's like the AI argument. It's just, around the corner, hover cars, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
there's a
right.
question by Notice Oren, which I don't understand, but maybe I think I understand what the question is. But Ali, could you please ask Jordan if are small modular reactors also a grift, or are they more potentially viable?
Same thing. Go back, look at the history of nuclear modulars, small nuclear modulars. They've sunk billions and billions and billions of dollars into this. Everyone always brings out these stupid talking points of, oh, Bill Gates is sinking money into it and he's smart, so he's fucking, that's obviously going to work. Yeah, well, I can bring out billionaires too, like Elon Musk, who says that it's such a stupid idea to invest in nuclear energy. He's just talking about the economic impacts of it. But also, small nuclear modular reactors, exactly the same thing. Oh, we're going to invest all of this money into it. That you're getting any returns whatsoever? No. So what we're going to do is invest more money into it. It's an idiot talking point. Like I saw the dickheads on Planet America saying that of, oh, that's the one positive legacy of Donald Trump. This is how brainwashed these people are, how much they believe the press narrative, the people that are in that mainstream press narrative. It's fucking pathetic. Think about what Planet America is. It is just relaying CNN talking points to an Australian audience. Can you imagine how indoctrinated you would be? And they sit there and say, oh, the one positive aspect of Donald Trump's era is that he invested a lot into nuclear power. Why the fuck do you think a Republican is investing a bunch of money into nuclear energy? Do you think it's for noble environmental purposes? Is that what he's doing there? Is he secretly doing some long game like Obama is to just make sure that, we have a CO2 free future? They don't give a fuck about that. It's because of weapons. And a huge, well-funded nuclear lobby group, which is the thing that I'm very concerned about with all of this talk. But I think that renewables is just going to win this fight anyway, because despite all the handicaps that they have across the planet, they're just steaming ahead to the point that in China, for instance, like a lot of places, you don't even need subsidies. They're just so profitable that the private enterprise is doing it anyway. But, in the US, there's the nuclear energy lobby is a lot. I don't know why it is, but also you need to know this as well. The guy, Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, he was critical in setting up nuclear energy's image worldwide. The father of the propaganda model. He was integral in this whole, nuclear energy is the way of the future. It'll just power everyone's houses. Such a little amount of energy is needed. All of that stuff. He was the guy that's set up the talking point templates. But what you need to understand is it's just it's a secret fossil fuel lobby, and something that really scares me. It honestly terrifies me how little, how much they squash any investigations into the impacts of living around nuclear power plants, what to do with the waste. All of that is just squashed.
Okay, so I've got a question. So that I understand why developing countries, or even countries that aren't part of the nuclear group, let's just say, that want to develop it, they probably have ulterior motives of developing the weapons, like North Korea and Iran are like known examples. But we've had history of every country that has ever achieved that nuclear power status has done it through a fake premise of we just want it for energy. My question is, that explains that aspect. But why is the US still adamant? Like, they've got more nuclear weapons than you could ever want, and they're constantly trying to work out how to reduce that with Russia. So it can't just be weapons. There must be some economic interests that are driving people like Bill Gates to invest in it and then obviously propagate it because of their investments.
Well, I think that there's two things that are happening with Bill Gates. The first one is, for some reason, the most intelligent people on Earth are enamored by nuclear energy. They're one-to-one. The biggest nerds you will ever meet in your life that are intelligent in every other respect, for some reason, they just get a hard-on about nuclear power. I don't know what it is. It's kind of just like Tesla cars. Every autist on Earth is obsessed with Tesla.
Is it because of
is it that?
Is it because it's green, the waste? It is pretty cool.
I think it must be something like that. It's some kind of inadequacy complex of, it's so powerful, it's the power of the sun. Some lame thing like that in their head.
That does make sense. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it is either that, or he's figured out that this is a great way to get endless government subsidies if you can get in on that gravy train.
The other aspect I think could be that if, let's say, you believe in renewables as the way future, right? Yeah, sure. There's going to be companies that will be making solar panels. There's going to be a lot of companies that will profit from it. But I think the distribution of the benefits would be more equitable. Like, now you already see people that were that installed solar panels on their roofs are sometimes getting more money as opposed to giving money to energy companies because they're supplying it to the grid. However, if you're power reserve was based on nuclear, then you know who the money is going to. It's not going to random people. It's going to the corporation that is profiting from that built that nuclear power plant in the first place. So I suppose it could be a way of making more money. Renewables
Well,
would
that's
be less
definitely true.
profitable.
That's why a lot of big investors put so much money into it, because it's all about controlling the fuel supply, which is another thing that's incredibly dangerous about nuclear power that no one mentions. But you go to Olympic Dam. In fact, I was talking to an elder the other day from Olympic Dam, coincidentally, and he was just saying the cancer rate around Olympic Dam is through the roof. Every second person he knows has cancer, but again,
Jesus,
silence.
fuck.
Nothing about it. There's no studies into it at all, because BHP just makes a mint out of mining all of this shit out of the ground. It's the same site that you see over and over again. Anyone that lives anywhere near a uranium mine, cancer, far as the eye can see. Huge loss in biodiversity, because think about it. You have people that are as smart as coal miners digging fucking uranium out of the ground and then putting all the waste into a pit. What do you think happens to the pit? It evaporates. The water evaporates into the air, then it rains, goes straight into the ecosystem. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Like, it's really poisoning the planet.
Did you see Fat Dak on Crack's comment? I don't know if it's worth reading. He said nuclear energy. Did you see that, Ali?
No.
I don't know if this is worth reading, but it said nuclear energy, 0.07 deaths per terawatt hour. CO2.
And I'm glad that he said that point, because this is what I'm talking about. Secret fossil fuel industry. That point right there is the nuclear power equivalent of there are no, the climate is changing, but it's still up in the air as to whether or not it's because of fossil fuels. So that's the nuclear power version of that they say, it's 0.7 least jets per megawatt hour, which is a ridiculous statement, because the same thing happened. If you go look at what happened to Chernobyl, I think the official estimate is something along the lines of like 40 deaths. I can't remember. This was a long time ago. You look at official stats from the Ukraine, you look at official stats from, I think, what was the other country that was around? Belarus. They're saying that it's 1 to 2 million casualties. Ongoing effects of Chernobyl, where you have these countries allocating, I think, something along the lines of 7% of their budget a year to treating the ailments of the people that are still dying from these. Like, once radiation gets into your DNA, every generation after that gets more and more fucked. They've done it on rats, right? Like, the first generation, their DNA is altered, but then the next generation, their DNA is even more altered because you're reproducing with a fucked DNA. It just keeps going down the line.
And also, like, these deaths argument, it's going to be so, because it's the whole causation is not correlation thing. Like, how the hell do you prove that someone that got cancer was because they lived in the vicinity of waste, or it was because of that lean and cuisine Coles pack that they've been eating all their life?
Exactly. And that's a classic. This is the classic denier of all pollutants. They always say, you can't prove that it was that. It was for all of these external environmental factors. But you look at all the studies, it's just like, the amount of leukemia within a 5-kilometer radius of the people living around a nuclear power plant, twice the number. Like, you look at anywhere where there's uranium coming out, there's just massive cancer rates, but none of that is accredited to the deaths. It's the same thing that happened in Fukushima. Then you get all the lines of, oh, well, those were all old nuclear power things that were like running. And it's just like, yeah, Gen 3 still are the ones that are getting built today. In fact, they're getting built with the safety pieces that were supposedly supposed to stop Fukushima and Chernobyl, deliberately built out of them to cut costs. Like, you think that there's a bunch of smart people that are building these things. It's just like, think about this shit, right? 85% of apartments in Australia are defective. That's fucking apartments. We've been building them for thousands of years. People cut costs to save money. They do that with when they're building nuclear power plants.
Jesus, that's scary.
Like, I'm really, that fucking less deaths per megawatt hour. That is, I'm telling you, the central node propagandic piece. In fact, the Academy of Sciences in New York just looked at it. They confirmed that there's been 1 million deaths from Chernobyl. That fucking blows that one out of the water just from that. You know, but what you will hear is things from the WHO saying that there was 40 deaths there. And that's because when there was a Chernobyl hit, they went there for the first 3 days. They just got in their cars, looked around, just went, oh, there's a body bag there. And then they fucked off. And then that was the official number from that point on.
Fuck.
It's look, you look at any pollutant, it's exactly the same thing. I'm talking about pesticides as well. And now the stuff that I'm looking into pesticides now, like just decimating the environment, but also public health as well. But because there is a massive industry behind it, billions and billions and billions of dollars, the same thing. No one's died from nuclear energy. Okay, do a study on it. No, we won't be doing that.
Damn.
You know?
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Look, you've made your arguments.
Sorry.
Like,
I don't know why it angers me so much.
No, but like,
yeah.
I and like I've always said this, you have changed my opinion on nuclear like years ago, because I was one of those hipsters that were looking at like all of these studies and being like, damn, maybe nuclear is the answer. So look, you've made your point clear, but I suppose this is something that doesn't work too well with the audience because you're swimming against the waves here. But
Well, surely not all of them though, right? Like
not all of them, but Jordan is right. There, for some reason, even though it's such a bizarre thing to be emotional about, but a lot of people really like nuclear power. And I think Jordan is right.
Yeah.
It's from the idea that, oh my God, it's so powerful. Like it's getting like you get a high from being able to control something that's that intense.
But also they're always like, it's clean. That's the main thing they say.
Yeah, but it's clean as long as it stays
It's not
inside of
clean.
these like
It's not clean. There's
no, it's
fucking
not clean.
nuclear waste.
If it gets out, it's worse than
and
anything
extracting
else.
it from the ground. The whole thing's dirty from beginning to end, and transporting it as well. You got to think about that. Like, dude, think about how scary this is. I was reading of an instance where in Brazil they were transporting uranium, active uranium, into a nuclear power plant, and because it's Brazil,
into fucking Carnival.
Yeah, because this is the other thing. They build it near ghettos because no fucking normal person that's a senator or anything, everyone who was always being like, yeah, I love nuclear power. You say, do you want to live next to one? No.
Exactly.
Not me. Let's build it out in Uluru, you know?
Yeah.
But the same thing happens. Like they build it every time near a ghetto because they don't have a bunch of lawyers that they can sit there and put injunctions on. So it's just easier to just put it near poor people. So they build it in a ghetto. They're transporting uranium into that area. I can't remember what weapon they used, but it was some kind of projectile weapon. They were trying to carjack the thing. And so they shot at the fucking truck that had uranium in it. Like, it's such a fucking miracle that thing didn't tip over.
Oh my
So lucky.
God.
Like, there's all these things that you don't think about when it comes to tech. All you think about is your cool little, like, but this X180 is going to be built in the year 2016, like that kind of shit, you know? Like, you're not thinking about all the other supply lines and all that stuff.
Why were they shooting at a fucking nuclear waste truck?
Because they're idiots that didn't know what the fucking like caution sign meant, and they're just like illiterates from favelas being like, "Yes, it's a bank truck,"
or they want to sell it.
Or they want to sell it. That's
they
the other
could
thing.
Sell it to countries that would pay a lot of money for it. You know?
Are you joking?
No. The ones that want to build nuclear weapons, yeah.
All
right, boys. Last segment. This one's a bit heavy, and so Independent Australia just did a investigative piece. Sorry, not Independent. Michael West did it. One of the two. Sorry, but what they noticed was that, and this is going to be a bit heavy, but in Australia, out of all of the circumcisions under Medicare, about 4.7% of them were apparently on girls.
What?
Yes. And
you do that.
The health ministry has said that that's supposed to be an accounting error. Like that's some kind of an error that's happened. But there was this investigative team that went into different clinics that perform circumcision, pretending to be someone that was looking to get a young girl circumcised. And
Jesus.
some of them agreed, and a lot of them told them to seek home remedies as opposed to, even though it's very explicitly banned and unlawful to do. So this is something, and independent, whoever did it, Michael West or Independent Australia, couldn't actually take it to court because apparently the evidence that they adduced wasn't admissible. I can imagine a few reasons why that might be, but either way, if this is a legitimate thing, that's concerning.
But what is a female circumcision?
Well,
How do you do that?
I suppose
know.
there's like a few different ways. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but what they do is they cut off the hymen, which is supposed to be like it's supposed to stimulate you, so it reduces the pleasure that you get, but more importantly, it can, if it goes bad, you can die, and or you could be infertile. So there's a whole host of reasons why you should not do female circumcision.
Who the fuck would do that?
But
I don't have a vagina, but it's making my testicles squeamish.
Yeah, same.
yeah, it is. It's
Can that be like? Are you Ali?
What?
You know,
look,
sometimes when you hear something really delicate about genitals and you get that feeling.
absolutely, particularly if it's for male genitals, because I don't know, just it's home.
You can empathize.
I can also empathize with female, but there's a few questions. Is that a Jewish thing? It is not a Jewish thing. It is Jewish thing and Muslim thing is male circumcision, which that's a whole different kind of a debate. But what it is, it's prevalent in certain parts of Africa as like a cultural thing. So you could be Christian or Muslim, and female circumcision is just a general practice over there. Now, there is a sect of Muslims that originate or believe that they originated from those parts of Africa that might not live in Africa, but they also perform female genital mutilation. So there is a subsect of people for whom this is a cultural practice, just as cultural as male circumcision is for Muslims or Jews. And so people are saying you're confusing hymen and clitoris. I have no idea how female vagina works. So like, just
what's a hymen? Everyone vote now in the polls.
Is it hymen or clitoris? Anyways, the point is that if it is happening, the thing is, it's cultures that do this are perfectly aware of how frowned upon and in our context, how illegal it is. So they tend to not make it public. So it's like one of those secrets that a few people have.
And what happens if you go to like North Shore Private Hospital and say, I want to get it cleared?
Well, what they're supposed to do is tell you that is unlawful. They cannot do it, and they recommend you not to do it either. That's what they're supposed to do.
But they go do it in their backyard.
Well, if they do it in their backyard, it's still illegal. But
yeah.
But the hospital should not do it. In fact, the
hospital does.
Well, we don't know if hospital does or not. But according to this investigation report, that it is plausible that certain clinics might be practicing it. But we don't know for sure, and the female circumcision stats are being told to us by the health ministry that is a bookkeeping error. It's not actually on females, it's on males, but their gender was misclassified or something like that.
Right. Well,
there you go.
I'm pretty sure this is very related to this, but Sandy just texted me saying that there's a new show called Fuckboy Island.
I think it's going to be a hit.
So do I. I have to watch that.
I think I do too.
I don't have a choice.
I'm just a man.
I bet you Ali's on the show.
I'm on that island.
Damn.
Pakistan.
Ali's on that train.
No, I'm not on that train anymore. If anyone is on that train, is Miss Love.
Yeah, the guy making vape smoke rings. Who'd have guessed he's a fuckboy?
That is not accurate. It is
Isn't it?
No.
Wait, is that your guys' take on female genital mutilation?
I
How many
mean,
times is Gislav fucked? Pretty much. Well, that's our take on everything, isn't it?
I suppose it's
think-
probably the best because we don't know shit about like.
I think it's a horrible practice that shouldn't be allowed. Like I don't know what do you say, right? Like, what do you say, really?
Yeah.
You hope it doesn't happen. And like, why? Some crazy shit. I think male circumcision's barbaric. Like Kramer said, it's a barbaric act.
That's actually also a school of thought now. That male
Look, I'm of the
circumcision is
opinion that you should get circumcised. I'm doing it to my kids purely because I'm not looking at any unhooded boys in porn. I'm done with it. I click off instantly if I see it. It looks like a dog's cock.
You are a strange young man.
So you don't mind it.
Dude, I had an
No.
argument with my girlfriend about this exact thing. She
Go
was
on.
like, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it to my but again, male kids. And
Don't
she was
lie,
like,
Ollie.
why? Like, you aren't even Muslim. Like, why do you care? And I was like, well, because my dad did it, his dad before him did it, and his dad before him did it. So my son's gonna also have to go through it.
Hell yeah, Ali. Traditionalist as fuck.
Yeah. But I think the literature says that it's the best and the healthiest way is to teach kids from a very young age how to clean their penis and not get
Jesus.
circumcised. Because
I
if you
think
don't,
people can figure that one out.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I didn't.
Well,
The hard way.
you're a
Old dorsal slit Geordies.
dude. They did that on you for a meme, dude. I'm sorry to tell you, that was just a bit of a lol.
And it was funny.
And there's a
it's
side
spawned a lot
note.
of memes as well.
There you go.
So I've got no issue with it. I really do think that unless someone can show me a bunch of pictures of little Jewish boys with half a penis,
Oh Jesus!
I'm getting the circumcision from my kids,
Fuck.
male
what is
or
this
female.
Here's another added bonus for getting circumcised if you're a boy. Apparently, you last longer in bed.
Yeah, I think that's true. But you know why? Because just like with women, it dulls the pleasure.
Yeah, I think it does.
Well, I think that's true.
It does. Check it. That's what they say.
I think I remember saying that to my dad. What if it reduces the pleasure? And my dad was so angry at that question for some reason. And he said, mate, if I had any more pleasure in the bedroom in my life, I'd be on the wall being like, oh.
What does that mean? Oh, right.
It just means if he had even 4% more pleasure, which I think is how much it dulls your penis sexual activity. If he had 4% more, he'd be on the wall, incapacitated like a soldier that got his leg blown off in Iraq.
And I don't doubt him. I bet he probably is.
That's a weird thing to say, though. He's saying,
Yeah,
like,
my dad is the original fuckboy.
I think it's.
I wouldn't be surprised if
His
he's on
island
Fuckboy
is
Island
a-
as an original coach, just being like, yeah, did you get the number? Make sure you put the hat backwards, mate.
Back in the day, our island was bigger. It was called all of Australia.
Yeah. Don't forget Tasmania. I had some fun there.
All right, boys, should we end the pod?
Yes, tune in to the Up Late podcast. Make sure that you sign up, where I will be arguing more about nuclear power.
And we will be
About my
going.
dad's penis more as well.
And we'll be going into COVID lab leak theory, and we'll be going into other COVID related stuff, which we are afraid to talk about.
Yes, they can't get us on. Can they get us on Patreon?
Well, not yet.
Yeah, probably, if anyone could be bothered to listen. So that's even more incentive. If you hate us, make sure that you sign up so that you have shit on us.
Don't say that, for fuck's sake. He's just kidding. He's a comedian. Lots of laughs. Like,
No, but I honestly,
Saturday.
I'm very proud of the product that is the Up Late podcast. I truly think that it is my favorite and finest artistic contribution. Where else can you hear a man shit live on Zoom?
It doesn't happen enough. It never happens. That's groundbreaking. We should have been able to retire off that pod, but we do it for you people because we love yous.
All right, so that means sign up to Friendlyjordies podcast Patreon.
Hey, how many patrons do we have for it?
Yeah, how many are you at?
We've got close to 1,000.
Shit.
Hey, whoever gets the magic 1,000 will get Miss Love's personal guarantee of a hot steak dinner. We all know he always fulfills his promise.
It has been a while.
You know what it should be? There should be a budget Game of Thrones, a Game of Thrones porn to reflect how much pussy he gets in real life. And he should star in it. And he should be one of the Lannisters, like a rip-off of the Lannisters. And he should be somebody who's like, his catchphrase in the porn is, a Balabragic never pays his debts.
Fucking hell.
On that note, we'll see you guys
Jesus.
next week, and the cool ones amongst you, we'll see you on the upgrade. See ya. Bye. See you guys next week.